welcome you all for this series of Searching the Truth. Today we are going to see a beautiful truth. Matthew chapter 5, it says, 44th verse, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." You know, who are our enemies? That is very important. He is telling, love your enemies. Not even to forgive your enemies. He's saying, love them. Which means build a good relationship with them. Connect with them. Resolve the issues which you have between them and you. Come to a place of peace. Show care, kindness, love. Hug them. That is something deeper which Jesus is inviting us to do. Now, so we need to understand who is our enemy. Can a stranger be your enemy? No way. So who could be your enemy? The people who are in front of your eyes and whom you know. So who is there with you? My friend, my brother, my sister, my wife, my children, my parents. These are the people around me, and that is where I have my enemies. In Matthew chapter 10 and verse 36, it says, "A man's enemies will be the member of his own household." See, very clearly the Bible tells us who our enemies are. It's our own household. There was a friend of mine who came and asked, whom came and told me, when I was saying this to him, he just told me, I told him, love your wife. He said, my wife is my enemy. The Bible also says, your household is your enemy. And I told him, and that is the enemy which Jesus wants you to love. Now, I want to connect all this together. When Jesus says, when you put your hand in the plow and you decide to follow me, then don't turn back. Then he says, unless you hate whom? Your father, mother, wife, children, your brother and sister. Then he says, purge it out or plug it out if your eye is making you to stumble. So the problem here is, in order to follow Jesus, we always have a stumbling block which includes our enemies as well. Because every time you decide to go to pray, that's when your wife starts to argue with you. Your children begin to make you fret. And your parents are always blaming you for everything. So these are the things which constantly hits you, bang, bang, bang. And it's like, oh, I wanted to pray, but I couldn't. I don't have time. This work, that work is there. So Jesus is telling, from that which is making you to stumble. So when you disconnect and when you follow Jesus, when you decide to follow Jesus, what happens? Like, when Martha and Maria, Jesus was in the house of Martha and Maria. Maria came and told, Martha came and said, Jesus, ask my sister to help me. I have done so much of work. But Jesus said, Martha, she has chosen the good thing, to sit at the feet and listen to me. And that will not be taken away from her. Mary disconnected herself. Maria chose to disconnect herself from everything and just listen to the voice of God. That doesn't mean that she is hating Martha. That relationship is there. But if that relationship does not flow from Jesus, that same relationship is going to be as an enemy relationship. It will not be at peace. So what Jesus is trying to do is first asking you to disconnect yourself from everything that is stumbling, making you stumble, and first connect yourself with Him. And that's why there's a verse which also says, "He who loses anything in this world because of me, he will be getting it 100-fold times." So when you connect yourself with Him, and when you try to reconnect yourself with that same relationship from your relationship with Jesus, then that relationship becomes a blessed relationship. And that's 100-fold times. So, in order to conclude, Jesus is asking us to remove the stumbling block, not exactly to scourge out or hate it, but just to make you available for Him first. And when you connect with Him, you are connected back to that same relationship in a different way, showing the Christ in you, seeing the Christ inside your family, seeing the Christ within your relationship, within your husband and wife relationship, within your children, within your family. And that is where you are going to see a blessed household. I believe this message is a blessing for you, and we'll get back again with a new message. Thank you.